Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Auntie Danny Knits. I'm Danny. Things are a little bit different. We got new bedroom furniture and I had to rearrange the craft room to accommodate over here now I've got two extra dressers in the corner where I used to sit, and those are eventually going to be used for yarn storage once I figure out the rest of things in here. But that meant that I had to move my chair a little bit, so we're trying something slightly different, but I'm still in my red craft room. You can see my lovely walls. You can see my sign now that I got last time. So yeah, a little bit different, but same general idea. I really did not get that last episode up on time. Not even close. Somehow it took me like a month almost to get it up online, and I'm really sorry about that, folks. I'm gonna try and do better with this one. Actually, I'm going to do better with this one because I have a time limit because I'm headed to Into the Wool and I am so ready. I'm just done with this week. It's Tuesday and this week at work has already been long and last week was crazy long, and I am just done and I'm so ready to go sit with my people and knit for 3 or 4 days and not worry about anything else. So that being said, let me show you what I've finished since the last time I recorded. So I've finished a lot of things. That's good, right? Yes. I'm not going to unfold this completely because it is giant and it took it forever to get it full. But I finished my Gemma blanket. This is the blanket that I made to give to my middle niece. And so, okay, this is the edge. This was one of the squares. If you go look at my Ravelry page, I've got it laid out on a bed so you can actually see it all. But the purple yarn is the Premier Yarn Sweet Roll in Lavender Swirl, and then the white is Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn in White, nothing too fancy. But what I did, this pattern was by Connie Lee Lynch, who I'm going to see it Into the Wool. Hi! I'm excited. But she had this pattern and it was for just a single square, but I didn't want a square blanket for a bed, not when the girls are young enough to still be in twin beds. And so I ended up doing 6 squares, and I used a full, almost full ball of the Premier Yarn Sweet Roll for each of those 6. And then I did you can sort of see here, I did an extra round of the main pattern in just white on one, and then I did a join as you go. So just joined it as I went crocheting. And then around the outside of the whole blanket, I followed Connie's instructions to do this lovely little picot. And picots take forever. They don't take quite as forever crocheting as they do knitting, which is nice. Quite as forever? I don't know if that's the right terminology. You know what I mean. It did take a while, but not as long as it would have taken to do picots all around the edge of a twin size blanket knitting. But I'm really happy with it. It's soft, it's cute. I sent pictures of it to my sister and she said, oh, can I show her? I said, sure. She is super excited. So Bug is gonna love her blanket. So I've got bears done, I've got bugs done, and now I need to do one for Bean. And I've got 2 potentials started. And I'm looking over in the corner where I've got the yarn for them. I need to make a decision very soon about which one I want to do, and then just do it. What else did I finish? I finished a bunch of stuff. So I'm actually going to take my watch off to show you this next one. This is something that I finished last time, but I couldn't show you because it was not released yet, but now the pattern's released and I'm super excited. So these were something that I test knit for Mary, Kino Knits. I love her patterns. I love her style. I am a super fan of all of her knitting goodness. And I'm going to see her at Into the Wool this weekend as well. I'm super excited about that. And I'm going to do some finished object photos with her. But these are the Be Relentless fingerless gloves. Aren't they awesome? I love them. They're part of the newest Point Counterpoint collection. It's Point Counterpoint Volume 4 that she did along with Lisa Ross, who is Paper Daisy Knits, and I also met her at Into the Wool last year. She was one of my roommates, if you recall, and I love her to death, and I love her patterns too. I just didn't get an opportunity to test knit any of hers, but I have the whole collection, and I'm totally going to be knitting some of her stuff too. But look at these! They are so fun. So the pattern calls for a mini skein set. I did not have a mini skein set with, I think it was 11 colors or 10 colors plus the contrast. That's a lot of colors. And I mean, there were absolutely options to do it with fewer, and I could have, but I thought, no, I like the idea of having all these colors. So I went through my stash because I know that I tend to go with, well, these colors when I'm knitting. The dark greens and the blues and tealies and purple. These are just my colors. So I had a whole bunch of them, and I pulled out all my little mini skeins that were left over from different other projects and went through them and laid them out in a couple of different orientations until I found the not quite gradient-ishness, the color change that I liked. And I did it, and I think I used less than 20 grams of each color, except the black. But if you look at my project page, I do have all of these different yarns listed, and the weights that I used for all of them. I did the smallest size because I have tiny little hands. They're so warm and comfy, and since I'm a fingerless glove wearing gal anyway, these are just perfect for me. I'm super happy with them. So this is Be Relentless by Kino Knits. Totally recommend this one. The other thing that I can show you now was the other thing that I test knit for the Point Counterpoint Volume 4 collection, and this was her another one by Mary, Kino Knits, and it was the Parallelograze hat. And look at this thing! So I did the newborn size, and this yarn is Frabjous Fibers. Is it? Yes, Frabjous Fibers Cheshire Cat gradient set in the colorway Down the Rabbit Hole, and it's super cool. I love the way she did the patterning. There's like no visible jog when you switch colors because of the way the parallelograms go around the hat, and it used a 5 color gradient, and this is super cute. I'm waiting for someone knitworthy to have a baby so that I can give them an adorable little baby hat, but I wanted to show you guys before it goes into the gift box. But yeah, it's so sweet. I like it, and it's soft. I like this yarn too. This is the same yarn that I used for oh, I can't think of the name of it, but it's the cowl that I test knit for Connie, because that's what I do. I test knit things. Oh, some people drink and know things. I just test knit things. Anyway, speaking of hats, I also finished a hat, and I don't think I'm gonna put it, well, no, I'll put it on. So this pattern is Tirsa by Tyga Hilliard, another one of my standard favorite designers. It's a slightly slouchy hat, which is not really my thing. It doesn't really work for me, but this hat isn't for me. This hat is for my sister. I made her the Hun cowl by by Kino Knits, and that was the gift that I gave her for being my bridesmaid, and she loves it. She loves wearing cowls, and it's entirely appropriate for her where she lives. It's nice and cold there, so she can wear them. And this is the yarn that I was talking about last episode, which you may have seen like 2 days ago, but I got it from Yarn Box. This is Vocabulary Yarns Delicate. It's their Aran weight yarn in the color Hyperbole. I saw the Vocabulary Yarns and the colorway Hyperbole and thought that it was the same Vocabulary Yarns Hyperbole fingering weight that I did her cowl in, and it was not, but that's fine because it worked out great to do it as the hat, and the little bit of yarn over lacy detailiness that goes up the hat I think will work well with the yarn over lacy detaily sections of the Hun cowl. So I think this is going to be a nice pairing for my sister, and I ended up buying another skein of this, but I'm going to make her just plain mittens. I love the idea of doing something lacy, but honestly, she lives in a place where lacy mittens are just a silly, silly idea. She needs like full mittens. So I'm going to make her just mittens out of the same color, because I had a little bit left of this skein, and I've got another full skein, so that'll be plenty to make her mittens. So she will have mittens and a hat and a cowl, all matchy-matchy, and she likes pink and purpliness, so it's going to be great for her. Whew. Okay, what else? Ooh, I finished another test knit because, again, I knit tests. This one I did get permission to show, and it's another one by Kino Knits. And it is not released yet, but look at the elephants! Ah! So I think this is the part of the same series of mittens that I knit the giraffe from. And aren't they cool? This yarn, the pink, is from Daisy Knits, and it is her dewy sock in the color Let's Go Party. And then the blue is a blue that I dyed up myself. I think I talked about this last time. It was going to be a sweater for the middle niece, but I didn't get around to it, and then she grew and I was not going to have enough yarn, so I figured I'd use it for other stuff. And I love this. These are great. I love the elephants. They're pink and blue because that's what my sister requested. So I put up the picture of the giraffe mittens on Instagram, and she saw it and commented and said, I want these. And then Mary put up a notice about other test knits, and I'm like, she wants the elephants too. So I volunteered for that, and then sent my sister a picture of the picture that Mary had for, you know, pattern showing purposes. Said, would you like these? And she said yes. So she's getting elephant mitts, and I may make her a coordinating hat because I kind of like the stripiness of this, and that would be a nice hat brim. So anyway, these are the mittens, and it sounds like this pattern is going to be released in October, is what it sounds like. So keep your eyes open because Mary's awesome, and I love the elephants on the mittens, and there are other animals in the series as well, so keep an eye open. What else? So I finished 2 more things. I know I finished a lot. The first one I'm going to put in a picture here. And that is the elephant hat. One of the girls at work had her little baby girl. It was so sweet, such cute pictures of her. But she emailed me, no, she texted me. She had sent me this picture months ago of this little elephant hat that had an A on it. It turns out the A is for Alabama. And I don't know why the elephant is the Alabama mascot, but it is. Go Sports. But anyway, she had sent me this adorable newborn hat picture and said, can you make me something like this? I said, of course. So then I totally forgot about it, and she got more and more pregnant, and then she had a baby, and she said, did you maybe get a chance to finish that hat? And I'm like, I will have it for you in a couple days. Didn't mention that I hadn't started yet. Didn't mention that I hadn't looked for it yet. But it turns out that the picture she found on, I don't know if it was on Pinterest or what, but the picture she found was the exact pattern photo of, it's called The Elephant Hat by Leslie Reyes. And so I bought the pattern. I think it was like a $5 or $6 pattern, not a big deal. And I used all worsted weight acrylic that I have laying around. It was Caron Simply Soft, so it was very, very soft in the gray. And I think I ended up using a Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn maybe, in the red and white for the bow and the braids. I don't really remember. It was just red that I found and white that I found. And then did the little, that's supposed to be a letter A. Did the little A on the front of the hat and got it done, and she picked it up, and apparently her photographer was asking if I've got an Etsy shop where I sell these sorts of things. I said, well, I don't, but you're more than welcome to share my information with her, and she can contact me and we can talk about making baby props, because I love making baby things. They're so fast and so cute and so adorable, and I don't have many babies in my life right now other than, excuse me, occasionally coworkers' babies. And I would love to be able to work something out with a photographer that I make them baby props. I think they're adorable. And it may even end up being something like we work out some sort of trade where, you know, I make X number of baby props and then I drag all my knitwear over to wherever they are, or they drag their camera over to me and take a couple of finished object pictures, nice pictures of like shawls or something. Because it is hard to take my own FO photos. I've got, you know, a nice hanger and I've got my little dress form torso thing that I can put stuff on, but sometimes I want a picture of me modeling it. And I'm not always very good at articulating what I want the person on the other side of the camera to take a picture of. And I don't generally have someone else who can model the stuff for me, so I'm usually modeling it and coercing someone else into taking pictures of me. And I feel like for some of these things, like especially shawls and stuff like that, it would be very handy to have someone who understands photography to take the pictures so that I don't have to try to explain it and be in the picture and everything all at once. So there's that. So I finished that, and ooh, also on my list, so we've got the basement roommates, and we're all gamers. I'll talk about that a little bit later at the end too. But the basement roommates joined up with a new D&D game, and one of them needed a new dice bag. And so the other one sent me a text, can you whip up a dice bag? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I grabbed the crochet cotton and whipped up a dice bag. So here's the dice bag. So it's nothing fancy, it's just standard crochet in the round until you get a circle and then go up. And I think I did something like a double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch all the way around to make a little place to weave in a chain to do a drawstring. Super easy, nothing fancy, but hey, it worked and they like it, so there we go. And I think that's everything I made. Well, everything I finished. I've made some other stuff. All right, whips. I got stuff. I'm gonna start with the easy things. I did start the socks that I was talking about starting. These are my Godfather socks for my hubby, and I am just partway through the heel. I need to finish that up soon because this will make great car knitting. But here's the first part of his sock, and we talked about socks, and I think I'm gonna try making this pair taller than I usually do because he would like to try wearing them with his boots, and right now all the socks that he wears tend to slip down inside his boots because he likes the short ones. So we're gonna try a tall pair, like taller than the leg of his boot, to see if that will work to keep his socks from sliding down. Let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work with this pair, oh well, we won't do it again. The yarn is from Lollipop Yarn, the color is Godfather, and yeah, I'm just doing a fish lips kiss heel, nothing too fancy, but these are a work in progress that I will be taking with me to Into the Wool. I don't know if I'll work on them at the retreat or just in the car on the way back, but they will get worked on. Second thing, I started a sweater that Crafty Alley gifted me the pattern 2 years ago for my birthday because I really wanted it and I haven't got around to doing it yet. It's living in the Lumberjack Beaver bag from Whimsy Stitches. I love this bag. It's cute and it's perfect size for a sweater for me, or at least so far it is. The yarn I'm using is Cloudborn Fibers Wool Worsted Twist in the color Slate Heather, and the pattern is Watercourse by Karina Spencer. So it is a bottom-up cardigan with pocketses. So there's the pocketses, and it's very pretty. I'm enjoying it, which is good because last night I ripped out like 3 inches. So the thing is, and this is in a lot of pattern notes, you knit the pockety bit and then you knit the rest of this, and the rest of the sweater is supposed to be shorter than the pockety bit. But but this is a problem that I ran into and a lot of people have run into apparently, where the pockety bit was not shorter. I think it's because of, or was not longer rather. I think it's because of the way the ribbing-ishness of it pulls in. So long story short, I made mods and I ripped out about 3 inches of the back past where I had joined the pocket, and ripped back, joined the pocket earlier, and then knit more. Whatever. Anyway, I've got it sorted, and really that's the thing about gauge. I'm getting gauge on the stockinette section, but not apparently in the patterny section. And it will block out some, but I don't know that it was going to block out the 3 inches that my gauge difference was causing. Anyway, I am probably about halfway up the body. I'm at, I think I want to say 10 inches I measured. So now there's a thingy that I'll do at the back. Thingy, very technical, but I don't want to give any secret sauce for the pattern. But there's a bit that I'll do at the back. And once I'm done that, then I have to knit to like 18 inches from the underarm, which is longer than I normally do my sweaters, but this is supposed to be a longer-ish sweater anyway. And it's got a hood. I'm excited about that. And it's got long sleeves, and it's got this patterny bit at the end of the sleeves and around the hood. So this is gonna be fun. There's a lot of reading in this pattern and rereading and making sure that I'm doing the right thing, because there's actually, you know, patterning to it and it's complicated. So I'm having to watch what I'm doing, make sure that I'm actually following the pattern, and not just going on autopilot, because when I go on autopilot I knit an extra 3 inches and I have to rip it out. But anyway, I'm having fun with it. So that is the Watercourse by Karina Spencer, and I think that's going to come with me to the retreat as well. I don't know. I haven't decided if it's really going to feel like good retreat knitting, but you never know. Sometimes it's nice to have something that requires a little bit of thinking, so that if I run into something weird, I've got all these people around and I can say, guys, these words, I'm reading them and they don't make sense to my brain. And someone else will go, oh, it's just do this. And my brain will then go, oh yeah, you should have figured that out. But that's why we go hang out with other knitters, right? To share. Whew, sorry, that was babbly. What else am I working on? Oh, I finished spinning the singles of my How Far You'll Go fiber. This was BFL nylon from Dana from Unwind Yarn Company. She's not doing fiber anymore, which is sad, but I finished the singles and I plied them. So here is, let's see how close I can get. This is How Far You'll Go. It's a Moana reference, and it's these really pretty sort of tealy, greeny blues and whites, and I love how it turned out. And I did a traditional 3-ply, and I think this is going to actually be pretty much perfect fingering weight, and I think I'm going to make myself my very first pair of hand-spun, hand-knit socks. I'm really looking forward to this. I haven't washed it or thwacked it, so it may poof up and be crazy thick and I won't be able to do it, but I just finished it Sunday, I think, and I haven't wound it off yet. I will probably wait until after the retreat to do that. So I did that, and the first 2 bobbins were pretty much perfect in length. I think I ran out of the first one, and then I had maybe 10 yards of the second, but then I had a pile left from the third, and I think it's just because of the way I divided it up. Or, I don't know, maybe the third one got finer. I don't know. But, so I took the rest of the third one and I chain plied it onto its own little bobbin. So, you know, we'll get past the end that looks always wonky. But it is also heavy fingering to sport, depending on the section. And I don't know what I'll do with this. I'll probably use it for my sock yarn blanket, and maybe for Christmas stockings and mittens and stuff that I knit for the girls for advent calendars. Make some Christmas ornaments out of it. It's not a whole lot, I don't think, but again, it's still on the bobbin. I'll wind it off. I'll see how many yards I have after I've washed it and all that, and see what I end up with. I don't know. It's actually a relatively decent amount on there. We'll see. When I get done, we'll see. So that was another work in progress. I suppose technically the spinning part is finished, but I still have to finish the yarn, so I'm not counting it as finished yet. And then this whip, this is the last time you're going to see it this year. This is a bag full of baby hats. I've been working my butt off on these NICU noggins. So these are just the teeny tiny little baby hats that are for donation at Into the Wool. These are going to the Children's Hospital up in Nashville. And I've made a lot that are this sort of size, some that are kind of plain. I had a whole bunch of camo yarn that came to me. So I've got pink camo and blue camo and brown camo and super bright stripiness and crazy vibrant Halloween-y stripiness. I had some leftovers that I made into Christmassy floofy hats, and all of this is acrylic. I even made, because I talked about having some like micro preemie size last year for, unfortunately, the babies that don't make it. It's still nice to have something for the parents. So I had received a bunch of yarn from Jim's friend's grandma's stash when she passed, and I wanted to knit up as much as I could. So baby hats have been my purse knitting since May, when all the retreat stuff started. I wasn't sure if I could do them all year round and count them as donations, and I didn't want to keep them in two separate piles and have to figure all that later. So I just didn't start until then. I have another dozen hats sitting over there, and then 6 of a different type over there, and I've got a few more skeins that I'm trying to wrap up before the retreat in 2 days. So my personal goal initially was to knit more hats than I had last year. And last year I made 104. And I did that. So this giant bag currently contains 168 baby hats. And between the ones that I have over there and the ones over there, oh, and the one downstairs, and the 3 that are in different bags, I've got one beside my bed, one in my purse, one beside my chair downstairs, and the ones that I'm gonna finish, I'm actually trying to have 200 to turn in on Thursday. And I think I can do it. In fact, I know I can do it. I can totally get 200 baby hats. Is that a little crazy? That's super hyper competitive of me too. I really wanted to do more than I had done last year. The crazy thing is, this means that next year I'm gonna have to try to do even more, and I won't have someone's donated stash of yarn to go from, so I'd have to like buy more yarn. Oh darn, buy more yarn. So sad. Anyway, that's my hyper competitive streak coming out and manifesting itself in donated baby hats. And there's so many worse ways for that to come out, right? Like, I could be doing all sorts of crazy stuff to compete with people. Competing with myself to make more baby hats than I did last year that are going to go to babies in the NICU who really need something special and whose parents need some sort of extra love. That's not a bad thing to compete with at all, right? Everyone wins. Babies win, I win, everyone wins. I keep telling myself that. Anyway. So I don't have any shopping to share. I think the only thing that I had purchased was an extra skein of that hyperbole that I did the Tirsa in. But I've been good because I've got Into the Wool coming up. And there's a market and there's vendors, and I love their hand-dyed stuff, and I can't wait to buy some more from Unwind and from Bee and from a couple of the other ones I haven't actually purchased from before, so I'm excited to go see it all. And of course, you'll hear all about it when I come back. After such a huge long gap, I may actually record another podcast like the Monday I get back, because I am taking an extra day off of work. I need to have a day between traveling back and going back and dealing with work again. So I am taking an extra day off. So there's a chance that I may podcast, or at least record some that day and then add some more later. Yeah, so I've been good. I haven't been shopping. But that doesn't mean I don't have other stuff to talk about. So, first thing, the Sock to Me Knit Along is still going on, and it's an even number podcast, so we're going to do a drawing. And we've got, glare, so much glare. But it's between 2 and 37 because we've had some more entries. So the random number winner is number 20. And let's see who number 20 is. And I think that's on the first page. So let's get back to page 1. I bet it's Nicole. Let's see. She is a very prolific sock knitter and I love it. And yes, number 19 is Nicole with those lovely socks. So, Nicole, you won. And because I only recently sent off your last package, this time your prize is actually going to be a pattern of your choice up to a $6 value. So just get in touch with me and let me know which $6 giftable pattern you would like, and I will get that sent to you on Ravelry. So congratulations, yay! But that is not the only fun thing that I have to tell you about. So that awesome Parallelograze hat and those awesome Be Relentless mitts, those are part of the Point Counterpoint Volume 4 collection. And that is a collection of 4 patterns by Mary, Kino Knits, and Lisa, Paper Daisy Creations. And it's got the Be Relentless mitts, it's got the Parallelograze hat, it's got the something about luck. How did I forget the names of these? We're gonna take a look. Make Your Own Luck is the shawl that Lisa did, and it's beautiful and it's so big. I wish that I had made my my gloves with full skeins, and then I could have used the rest of those to make that shawl because it is gorgeous. It's beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. And I would love to make that. I'm gonna have to buy some more yarn before I do that though. Oh darn, so sad, so sad. So snarky. And then the Make Your Own Luck shawl goes with the Be Relentless gloves, and then the Parallelograze hat goes with a pattern called Lateral Quadrants by Lisa K. Ross, and it is the same gradient set, monotone sort of gradient set, making up beautiful glovey goodness. And I'm trying to pull up a picture here so I can show you everything. And my iPad is just being a little bit slow because the whole house is on the internets. Let's see, come on, there we go. So that's the whole collection, and they're gorgeous. And Lisa and Mary have offered a full collection to one lucky winner from the podcast. Yay! So, I'm going to open up a thread in the Ravelry board, and what I want you to do is tell me which of these 4 patterns you would knit first, and if you have the perfect set of yarn to go with it, whether it's a gradient set for the Parallelograze or the Lateral Quadrants, or a mini skein set for the Be Relentless or Make Your Own Luck, or something else entirely. I think the Make Your Own Luck would actually look beautiful in just 2 colors rather than multicolors, or in fewer colors. I think it would still be gorgeous. Same thing with the gloves. I don't think it has to be that bright colored set to really work and pop and be awesome. So I will get that thread up, and today is the 18th. It'll probably be the 19th or 20th before this actually gets up online. Just between editing it, and then the way I do it is I put it on YouTube, and then I let YouTube convert it to an MP4 format. I think that's the format I use. And then I use that to put on Podcast Garden so that it can populate to iTunes and any other podcast aggregator that you use, so that you don't have to necessarily watch iTunes or YouTube in order to watch the podcast. I don't know about you guys, but I just find it hard to watch on YouTube. I like to be able to download stuff so that I can watch it whenever. So anyway, it takes a day or so to get the editing done, to get it posted in one place, and then get it up and posted to the other. So, also the Point Counterpoint Volume 4 collection is on sale right now, till the end of the month. I don't remember the code off the top of my head, but if you check out Kino Knits or Paper Daisy Creations on Instagram, they both have posted about it, so you can go find the code there. And it may even actually be up on the pattern page. I didn't actually check that. I suppose I could, but I don't want to check that in the middle of the podcast. I want to just podcast. So, but they do have the whole collection on sale, so you are welcome to go try and pick that up in case you don't win. But I want to go ahead and leave this contest open until, let's say until September 30th, the end of the month. Actually, yeah, I'll leave it open until, I'll leave it open until the 29th. So you'll have just over a week to enter it. And on the 29th, I'll record a special little snippet and try to stick it up online. It may just end up on YouTube, but if you win, I'll tag you on Ravelry and let you know so that you can contact the designers, and we'll make it all work out. But that way, if you don't win, and I will tag you on the 29th if you have one, if you don't win and you still want to get the pattern while it's on sale, you can do that. So, I don't know. Sometimes people don't want to purchase something that they've entered to win in case they win. So this way, you have a chance to win, and if you don't win, you can still get the awesome deal. And it is an awesome deal. It's something like $5 for the whole set, and each of them on their own is $5 or $6. So yeah, it's totally worth it. So I highly recommend it. Whew, lots of babbling. And all about knitting stuff. I didn't even get to my knitting adjacent stuff. That's okay. We're going to take a minute now because that's what we do. So it may or may not have been obvious from things that I've knit, things that I wear, that I'm a little bit of a geek too. Sometimes a bigger geek than others. I was talking about D&D earlier and totally comfortable with that. So lately I've been watching and listening to a whole bunch of RPG podcasts and D&D podcasts. I know. It started, I started by listening to The Adventure Zone because a lot of my friends had been listening to that. Our old DM, Phil, when he was last in town, was telling us about it. And it's the McElroy brothers, Griffin, Travis, and Justin, and their dad, Clint. And the four of them sit around and play games. And the first balance arc is what they refer to it as. The first season, basically, which was way more than a season. It was like 2 or 3 years worth of podcasts. But they're playing D&D with these awesome characters. And, you know, it took a little bit to get into it, but it always does with a new D&D campaign. You have to find your characters. But they do character voices, and they've got all sorts of awesomeness, and yeah, it's very cool. So if you are a D&D fan, or if you just want to know what it is even kind of about, because not everyone knows, not everyone even knows what I'm talking about when I say D&D. I'm talking about the role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons, and it's on like the 5th edition now, which is supposed to be the final edition. Who knows if it actually will be. I started playing about 10 years ago on version 3.5, and kind of stopped when 4th came out because the rules got a little bit wonky and I didn't really like it as much, and I didn't want to have to relearn everything. But I've sort of picked it back up again a couple of times. I've got a lot of friends who play, and we've got a group that when Jim and I go visit them or they come visit us, we always do a little one-shot session. We've had an online group on Mondays, and that's pretty cool too. So it's not like it's a totally foreign thing to me, but if it is foreign to you, something like Adventure Zone is a fun way to get into it without having to feel like you know what you're doing, because at the beginning, I don't think they really have a clue at all. Clint definitely doesn't. Griffin has played before, and I can't remember if Travis and Justin had, but you know, it is a very accessible way to play. But then the other one that I've been watching is on the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. I've been watching Critical Role. I gotta say, it is so much easier to sit there and rip out 3 inches of knitting when you've got someone being amazing up on the television. These guys are really cool. I almost never watch their live stream because it starts at 7 p.m. Pacific, which is much later here, and they've been running 4.5 hours long, which means that by the time they're done, I am well asleep because it's a Thursday night and I have to go to work on Friday. So I don't really get to watch them live, but I catch on afterwards. And you guys, I am just crazy about this show. But the thing about watching these sorts of programs, these sorts of streams and podcasts, is these are people who are making up the stories together as they go. It's not like the DM has got something set in stone and this is the way it goes and they're just reading a script. They are making stuff up. The part of it is rolling dice to see what happens. And sometimes you know what you want to happen and you roll a 1. And for those of you who don't play D&D, rolling a 1 is bad. It's called a critical failure. You don't want to roll a 1. But that means that whatever you were going to do doesn't happen the way it was going to happen. And you have to think on the fly and make this up. But all this comes back around to they're super creative, and I feel like that sort of inspires me as I'm watching. And I actually have a book that I've picked up, not like a novel or anything, a sketchbook. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 designs that have popped into my head as I've been watching these shows. And so apparently I'm starting to become more of a knitwear designer. I had started with that shawl, which I still need to finish writing up and get to some of you. I'm sorry. I really am working on that. I can see it sitting right over there taunting me. I think it's getting close to being ready to go out to testers. But apparently in my head, I'm at least a theoretical knit designer, and I don't know that I will necessarily write up a whole bunch of these patterns, but I think I'm going to make them myself. One of them, I've got such cool ideas, and that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to going to Into the Wool is the indie dyers have such beautiful colors, and I know just based on what she had last year, there are a couple of things that V has that I really, really want, that I think are going to be perfect for some of these designs floating around in my head, and Dana's stuff. And just, I want to buy all the beautiful yarns to make all the things that are in my brain. And yeah, sorry, I blathered on a lot there about all my geeky goodness. But I'm super excited about these designs that are in my head, and even if I don't write them up as patterns, I still want to make them myself because I'm really excited about it. So there's that. Yeah, I think it's just that time of year where I'm feeling super creative, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of startitis again. I want to start all the projects and get going on all the projects because I'm so excited about them, and that's okay. But I also want to finish things because I'm super excited to have them done. I really want to have this water course done. I'm so not going to finish it by the end of September to submit for the We Are Yarn, I guess it's the 3rd quarter. But I finished another one earlier in the year, so I'm submitting that one. But I will definitely have it done before the end of the year. I want to have it done before it gets to be sweater weather outside, which it feels like it's going to be years before it becomes sweater weather outside again, but I know it's going to get here. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop myself now because I'm starting to get very tangenty and I could just go for like an hour and you guys don't need to have an hour of me babbling. So I'm going to wrap it up. If you're going to Into the Wool, I will see you there. I'm so excited. And if you're not, maybe next year, but I won't necessarily post about the date that sign-ups open until after I've signed up and got my spot because I want to go back. Yeah, so have a lovely week or two until I see you again, and I will be posting on the 29th, hopefully a little live, or not live, but recorded bit on YouTube and maybe up on the podcast stream as well, to let you know if you won the Point Counterpoint Volume 4. All right, everyone. Talk to you later.